And so people are able to match things. So if you tell us that, vote for me because this is what I want to do and I want a better Kenya. But then I am living the experience where I see the things that you said that you would do, you did not do. I will not vote that way again in the future, or one would hope. Do you think that that's where it's leading Kenyans right now?
And that's where it should be. If our parliament was not captured by the same person who conned us into this situation, I would say that there should have been a proposed bill where, as a president, you can be impeached for not fulfilling a manifesto promise. And I've said this before, where there should be a framework, a structure that even before a presidential candidate goes to a certain stage of the campaign, they deliver that manifesto within that, required structure from IEBC. It's handed over, it is approved, and then it becomes like a sort of blueprint of what you intend to do. And at that point, I actually think that should also, again, we should amend the constitution that grounds of impeachment should be, one of the grounds of impeachment should be that if you do not fulfill the promises that you went out on the campaign and that you handed over through IBC in a structured framework as a manifesto, if you didn't fulfill it, people can actually collect signatures and we just legislate around it. That, hey, listen, you promised us, for instance, within 12 months that the two-third gender rule would have been implemented, a solution would have come to. Now we are 4 years in. So we should have impeached you after the 12 months because we are not the ones who asked you to put a time limit. You are the one who puts these time limits of 6 months, 12 months, So it should be. We should get to a place where that should be a ground for impeachment, not only for the president, but it should be that anyone who's running for any office, including the county assemblies, there should be a structured framework of the promises that you are going out to give the electorate, and you should be able to deliver them within a certain timeline, like a deadline. You know the way they say deadline for submitting your paperwork within IBC or whatever? There should be a deadline for submitting your manifesto, and it's structured such that it can be monitored and evaluated within a legislative process.
I mean, with that, then there is stopgap measures in ensuring that the promises actually are fulfilled. But one asks the question then, as individuals who went all out to ensure that the president becomes president, your candidate becomes president, I mean, one would hope that as well you would be given a listening ear whenever there were concerns when it comes to the implementation of the document. Why are you listened to? Why are you being heard?
It also depends on the candidates. I'll be very honest with you. Not all the candidates.
After the fact, now he's president.
It depends on the person. It depends on the person. You see, that's more of a personality issue. There is no, we can only hope that I have worked with this guy during the campaign. I hope that this guy, when he gets into power, he will be able to fulfill the promises. It's a hope. And then you can only make that assessment based on, I have seen how he responds to certain situations. I believe that he will be able to do ABCD. But if he gets into office and shows you all the middle finger, then it's done. Then there's nothing you can do. He's in office. He has the sword. He has power. I mean, the most you can do is use, which I did, is use the positions. For instance, if like you're in parliament, then you would remind yourself, hey, you're a senator. Go and play oversight. These monies have been released for certain things. Like, for instance, when they did the 1 billion sanitary pads things, which I know they squandered. They squandered that money. And some of the people who squandered that money, I've been seeing them now, bringing the same pads as in form of campaigns. But I'll tell you this. You can only go back to parliament. That's why, you try to talk to him. You say, this is happening, there's this. But then if he doesn't listen, and if you are lucky enough to have been elected or nominated to parliament, then you go to parliament and do your work as a legislator. But you see, that's very unfair to the people of Kenya, because what do? They can only demonstrate, picket, and be shot. So, and that's why I'm saying there's a lacuna in law there, because there should be a basis of impeachment based on the promises that you did not fulfill. And all those promises should have a timeline. And it should be an exception that something absolutely horrendous or that was beyond your control happened, that promise was not fulfilled. But if you look at, and I rely heavily on the Women Charter because that's where I played a huge role. If you look at just some basic things, like, for instance, the first one, we said we are going to provide financial and capacity building support for women through the Hustler Fund for women-led cooperatives. The first year we went in a bang, and it was Hustler Fund 500 shillings. And there was a lot of questions of what can you do with 500 shillings?
Yeah.
And people came out and said you can buy vegetables of the day and sell them and make your 150 profit. But we were talking about also building capacity for these women. So will they do that for a record 5 years? When you are trying to say that you will empower them, pesa mfukoni, so that they can, scale up their businesses. After the first year of giving out the Hustler Fund, which was supposed to be a revolving fund, it died. We used to get stats and figures of the Hustler Fund periodically. Every second week, they would put out and say, oh, in this county, this many people have taken the Hustler Fund. In this county, this many people have paid back. Yeah. Now we are taking that money, we are sending. What happened to that? Because it was a pyramid scheme. And the pyramid scheme, the first few people are beneficiaries. After that, it's downhill. That's why it's very quiet. You don't hear anything about the Hustler Fund. You don't even see the people who used to come out and defend the Hustler Fund, the cabinet secretaries and PSs, talking about it anymore, because if they have to come and give us the facts of it, is that it doesn't exist.
It's gone.
It's like we are just dishing out money, because the rate of payback is non-existent. It's not a revolving fund anymore. It's a grant. People are taking the money and changing their funds and moving on. And you remember we promised people that we will remove everyone from the list of CRB. And that was such a big thing, because there are people who are like, I can't get access to funding because I'm on CRB of a small loan. Now those people were removed. They took the fund. Sometimes 3 times, they never paid. And you can't even list them, because if you list them, you said that you will not be listing them on the CRB because you understand the pain points. So it was really, like, when you think about it, it was more of, let's just do it, and the first year we will show something, and after that, that's why you don't hear about it. Then you go to the second thing of the Women Charter. They say realization of the 2/3 gender rule in elective and appointive positions in the public sector within 12 months. Following the election, including 50% of cabinet positions to women. 50% of cabinet positions to women. That one, who will he blame? You can blame the part of the elective thing, because and even that one he can try to blame, but he has captured parliament. So if he wanted to pass the amendment that will make sure that 2/3 elective would be settled on county and both National Assembly and Senate, he would do it in a day. He would literally do it in the first sitting of the morning session, and it would have been fixed. And that's why he wrote 12 months, because he knew, and the people that we actually knew, that we had numbers in parliament.
Yeah.
If you have numbers in parliament, you sit with your numbers during a parliamentary group meeting. You tell them, guys, we have a promise to fulfill to the people of Kenya. This promise requires a legislative amendment. So please avail yourself to parliament. We are going to have the first reading, second reading, third reading with one sitting. And we would like to pass this, and we are all on board. So, and even when they brought back this handshake thing, where there was now ODM joined with UDA, what were they calling? Broad-based, that broad-based thing. Even when they did the broad-based, remember I went to KICC to sign documents and things. You remember there was a big celebration. Now we are together, one big happy family. One of the pointers there was the 2/3 gender rule. How many times are you going to have it in an agenda and not do anything about it? So that one in itself, that is, by the way, anything to do with 2/3 gender rule and 50% of cabinet to be women and empowerment of women in terms of representation is William Ruto's fault, because he is the appointing authority.
You're saying that he could have done something about it.
Even now, his cabinet, even now, if he listens, he should say, by the way, why don't I have 50% women? Let me add Nani and Nani. Let me put Karen Nyamu and whoever, because at this point, we really don't even care. Like, just fulfill one promise. Just fulfill it and say, but those are women. Those are women.
Okay.
Put Maverick Oko. She's a woman. As in, at this point, we are not even going to question capability and skill set. We are just like, do the bare minimum. Then when you do the bare minimum, we come back and say, batata wewe, sasa huyu anaweza fanya kazi gani, to be honest. But first, even do the bare minimum. He can't. That is his fault. He cannot blame COVID, Ebola, and whatever for 2/3 gender rule. He can't even blame the economy and the dollar rate. That's on him. It's William Ruto's fault that women are not represented enough in cabinet, in our parastatals, in elective positions. By the way, if someone